When all hope is lost, most people just say there is nothing we can do and give up. But there are some that somehow persevere through years of bad luck and against all odds win it all back. Like this one trader who, after losing $800,000 over 2 years, decided it was time to use the forbidden weapon. He activated margin and decided to go all in and surprisingly made an insane comeback, which also inspired others. Like this trader whose strategy is borderline pure gambling and even earned him the nickname Feelings Investor. But first, it is my honor to present to you a trader who maxed out on margin at 8% interest and caught the bottom. He goes by the name of T-Dodger88 and is up by $865,071 in the past year. But the most interesting part is that he didn't even use options, and his incredible journey began a long time ago with his earliest records about 4 years ago. During the market crash of 2020, his strategy was to just go long in the TQQQ when he felt like there is a bounce coming and then selling into the bounce. He was buying 40 to 50k worth of shares at a time, profiting 5 to 6k at a time. He figured if he got caught holding the bag, he would just hang on to it and average down as companies like Apple, Microsoft and Amazon, basically the top holdings in TQQQ, would come out of this strong. But on March the 23rd, when the S&P 500 was at the bottom, he sold most of his shares as he expected the market to head down again. But as the market did the complete opposite and resumed going back up, he doubled down on his prediction and made a post in April 2020 explaining what the Fed was doing and why the market was going up and when will it go down, basically advising people to hang on to their puts as JP was going to have to watch the market slow bleed. And I think we all know what happened. The market absolutely tanked from that point on, right? Of course not, it just continued going up for almost 2 years straight, which is why in the same week he closed his puts after crying for too long. But right after that he ate a Snickers, got his together and put 40k in the SDOW, which is a short Dow 30 ETF. Sadly, he didn't reveal what actually happened with his position, but judging by his all-time chart, he made a small loss. But right after that, his portfolio went almost straight up. So what did he do? Well, first of all, he said that people were stupid and missed the crash and bought puts right after out of FOMO, like he wasn't one of them. On dips, he was adding long positions on 3x weighted ETFs like SOXL and TQQQ, and then hedged his position with puts on actual ETF, SOXS and QQQ on big up days. He wanted to be 70% in the 3x weighted ETFs and 30% in puts, while puts were just there to limit his downside in case of another crash, in which he would cash the puts out and go all in on the 3x ETFs with profits and ride it for the next bull rally. The puts he was buying were about 2 months till expiry, and while he knew there were risks, this was the best strategy he had at the time to not miss the eventual rally into the new bull market, as he was playing with about 250k. And he chose the SOXL ETF because he thought semiconductors would lead the way for the next 3 years, and he honestly couldn't have been more spot on. Now keep in mind that that was in May 2020, and in the next year and a half this ETF went up by 600%, which is probably the reason why his account got to all-time highs in the same time frame. Now at the same time he made a post saying how airline and hotel stocks were the best value in the market. To sum it up, he was expecting that more and more people would start spending their stimulus checks on traveling instead of assets. So aside from his already discussed biggest holding, he bought Boeing at $120, Delta at $19, Southwest at $24 and Marriott at $75. And it honestly looks like he timed the bottom on all of them perfectly. 3 months later he revealed he was also super long on Apple and Alibaba with over 100k in Alibaba leaps. And while the stock did go up by 20% in the next 2 months, it ended up tanking by 70%. And he did something not many traders do after their losses got bigger and bigger. He let go. How much money exactly did he let go? Well, just about $250,000. The hardest lesson in stock trading is knowing when to hold and when to let them go. You have to never never fall in love with a trade and always trust your gut. Typically it always pays to hold, because you made that specific play for a reason, but in that you have to know when to let go of a losing trade. And with that he bought $18,000 worth of puts on Alibaba, which he sold a week later for $89,000, profiting about $71,000, although in perfect hindsight the position could have gone up to $120,000 if he held. Then on the first Monday of 2021 he made a rather interesting post stating that 2021 would be the year millionaires are made from Tesla puts, with his starting position expiring in about a week. But even though the stock did fall later in the year, it went up by 24% in that first week, absolutely destroying his puts. And then as his account was brutally falling over a span of 2 years, he went quiet. No more posts, just a lot, and I mean really a lot of comments, but most didn't even reveal any of his positions. He did however reveal his best strategy, which later played a major part in his insane comeback. Firstly, you have to find good companies with strong moats and strong leadership. Stock buybacks is also something he would look for, which is why AMD, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Salesforce, Meta and VTI are some of the stocks he might have invested in. Secondly, you buy shares with all your disposable income for the next decade. Try and buy on dips when possible, don't be Cathie Wood, and only buy with the money you don't need for the next 10 years. Don't waste time staring at your account and instead check in every now and then. But don't do anything, just buy dips when you can and reinvest all dividends. Focus your time on work and creating value for yourself. Don't waste time trying to time the market or dwelling on paper losses or gains. In those 10 years your account will have tripled and you can start taking some off the top to buy shares in up and coming great companies. Hold those, don't sell, and check it again in 10 years. Rinse and repeat. Never buy options, don't panic sell, just add and hold. This has worked for the last 100 years and will work for the next 100 years. Unless there is a nuclear war, and if that happens, who cares, we are all. Aside from that, I found one comment posted in January 2023 in which he said he's down by about 500k on paper and made about 200k on puts, with his main holdings being Amazon, Meta, Google, Tesla, Palantir, Verizon, Salesforce, Coinbase, AMD, Intel, Nvidia, JP Morgan, CT, Qualcomm, Palo Alto Networks and CrowdStrike. And he bought these stocks after they tumbled 50%. And I guess that finally brings us to his latest post, as he's down by 292% or $865,071 in the past year, with his account being worth about $1,160,000. He basically got into a lot of smaller caps near the bottom, so he caught the huge recovery in 2023. At the time he had 300k in cash and did the only thing possible and used $600,000 of margin. And aside from already mentioned positions, he also owns 3 bitcoins, Snowflake, PFE, SoFi and many others, with most of his positions being up by 60 to 150%, which means that he is currently using almost $1 million in margin. He works in big tech and is letting all of it ride for 10 years, Bitcoin for 20, and will retire in 10 years, while he expects it to at least 5x from here. And while on one side of the coin you have a trader who seemed like he knew what he was doing and was disciplined, on the other side you have a trader who's been just pretty much buying SPY calls and even earned a nickname Feelings Investor, and you'll see why in just a moment. He goes by the name of my fifth account and he's down by 352% or about $77,000 in the past 3 months, with his chart going almost straight up. And to put it mildly, he couldn't have a more different approach to trading than the first trader. As I said, he was mostly buying SPY calls. To be more precise, about 80% of his trades were calls and 20% puts. He enters and exits daily, usually within 1 hour of entering the position. How does he choose when? Well, he just stares at the chart for 30 minutes and when he thinks it's going to go up, he buys. But because of how quickly he exits, he's quick to take profit, no waiting for his option to 2x, a 20% jump on SPY and he's out. He frequently averages down when his position is going bad, as he'll enter with 50% and then average down a maximum of 2 times. When he exits, he's done for the day, and he's actually on a cash account just for that very reason, as he found that he would try to force himself into something just to try and make more. He likes to buy options with a strike price within $1 and 2 to 3 days till expiry. Now, he went into detail about when he actually enters the trade, but it's just so done. He uses daily highs and lows and how choppy SPY is looking. It's a shit system, so much that he actually doesn't have a system. It's almost entirely based on a feeling. He frequently tries to catch bounces of whole dollar amounts when SPY is falling and rejections when SPY is going up. He uses no technicals, so that's about as much Wall Street bets as it gets. And if you want to see how this 30-year-old hit the absolute jackpot of losses, click on the video just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions or recommendations, leave in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.